Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Oriire podcast, the podcast that tells African stories. I'm Halima.
And I'm Ceci. And today we're here with our special guest, Lavigne from Kenya, to talk about Kenyan foods. Hi, Lavigne. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, thank you, Saget, for having me.
Habari
Thank you
Lavi.
so
You
much.
speak Swahili?
Nzuri sana. Yes, I speak Swahili. I do.
We're glad to have you.
I'm glad to be here.
I think you're our second guest coming to talk about Kenyan food, right, Ceci?
I'm not sure now.
I think she is because Yvette came on last season.
Oh, yeah.
So we're really excited to have you. So what's your favorite Kenyan food? I had chapati yesterday, by the way.
I love chapati.
I don't know if that's really
nice. You actually know how to make them.
What did you say?
You know how to make them, or you had someone prepare them for you?
So there was this event, and then there were chapatis, and I'm like, yay! But yeah, I don't know how
I hope you love them. I hope you enjoyed them.
Oh yeah, I did. That was the only thing I could eat at that place. So no, that was
okay. All right.
So what's your favorite Jinx
Kenyan food?
My favorite food from Kenya, that would be ugali with some vegetables we call sukuma wiki and some beef. Yeah, fried beef, preferably wet fry. Yeah, that would be my favorite dish.
Oh. So where are you from in Kenya?
So I'm from the western part of Kenya, from a tribe called Luya community. Yeah, although I'm a half caste of two tribes, but from my dad's side, I'm from the western part of Kenya. Yeah, from the Luya community.
Mm-hmm. And what's the other half? Yeah, what's the other half?
Oh, the other half is called Taita. They're from the coastal side of Kenya. Yeah, so I'm a mix of western and coastal side of Kenya. Mm-hmm.
So are there any foods kind of specific to the Luya tribe?
Yes, there are. So we have, chicken. I know chicken is known to be, universal or something like that, but in Kenya and in the Luya community specifically, it's tied to important cultural activities beyond just the dining table or buffet or dining or something like that, because it's very common in dowry payments and weddings and burial ceremonies, because without it, it's deemed incomplete. So there's chicken, there's ugali, there's what else? There's a certain type of vegetable that we call managu or kunde. So yeah, and from the coastal side, we also have pilau, we have biryani and sorts, yeah.
So I think it's very interesting, the Indian influences on Kenyan food, right? Because biryani, chapati, pilau, and all that stuff. So if we're kind of looking at the historical context, how did that kind of come about? How did Indian food kind of become part of Kenyan, society?
From my little research that I've done, I'd say, I think for in Kenya, we have quite a number of Indian restaurants that have come up over the years. And Kenyans are people who love to experiment with our dishes. So you might visit a place, for example, I might come to Nigeria and find that they prepare pounded yam or fufu or jollof rice and something like that. And when I come back to Kenya, I'd want to experiment and prepare it in a different sort of way. So I think with how Kenyans love to experiment, we, from, enjoying Indian dishes, we tried out some bit of different recipes here and there. And with time came to, come up with our own special recipe. Now, for example, chapati. For the Indians, they have things like, I don't know if you should compare it to roti or which one specifically, but something like that. But for the chapati now has to be fully cooked. For the other one, it's undercooked or something like that. So I think it's just from the interest of wanting to try out a new recipe on a dish that's, kind of known or something like that, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And in addition to that, I also think that when the Indians were brought over during like the British slave trade, that might also have possibly influenced, or like that's probably why there's a lot of like Indian food or Indian influences on Kenyan traditional dishes.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Would you say that there are a lot of Indians in Kenya? Because I'm actually curious about like the makeup, or like are they not really Indians that live there, but like they just their food, just influenced the foods just influenced each other.
No, actually, over the years, especially in the coastal side, there've been quite a number of Indians like moving to that side. And okay, there are not too many in Kenya, but specifically at the coastal region, there are quite a number of them. And most of them have opened up, like food businesses and all. The most common with that, especially in the coastal region of Kenya. Yeah, there are not too many countrywide, but just specifically in like the coastal region, there are quite a number of them, like quite a number that have come up. Yeah.
Okay, so besides ugali and I can't remember the soup you mentioned, the vegetable soup you mentioned. What other if you could list five other popular foods that you guys have in Kenya, that would be good.
Okay, so we have matoke, we have githeri, we have mokimo. What else do we have? We have pilaunjeri. Yeah, I think those are the others that I'd mentioned are quite westernized. They're not really like traditional dishes down here. And we also have mudokoi. Yes, we also have mudokoi.
So some of those sounded familiar to me. I know matoke is it the same as plantain? I think.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and githeri is some kind of stew, right?
No, so githeri is not stew. It's a
Oh
mixture
no.
of it's okay. It's a mixture of maize and beans. So you first boil them, like you boil them for a while, say approximately like 2 hours, because you need them to be like properly done. Then once they're boiled, you take a different kind of pot. You stir your onions and tomatoes. If there's any specific spice that you want to like add some flavor, then you put your maize and beans inside, like the mixed up together. It doesn't need to have any soup or anything. It's served dry as it is. So it's just the onions and tomatoes that you add to it.
That sounds really good. I always find it fascinating every time we talk with someone from like a different region of Africa, how similar, like how many what would I say now, points of similarity there are between like foods from, let's say, West Africa and foods from East Africa, for example, because in Nigeria, maize and beans is also a popular thing in some regions.
Oh, really?
I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, it's something very popular that people eat. And plantains, of course, which is the matoke, we eat a lot of. So
Okay, that's interesting. I'd be interested to also in future know how you prepare your matoke. I know that we have that in common. Something I'd be open to learning.
So, of all these foods, like the Kenyan foods, you know how like there are some foods that you typically eat at like breakfast time, for example. What would you say makes up a good hearty Kenyan breakfast?
Oh, okay. So that would be okay. So definitely tea, with some rosemary if you want some top of flavor, and something we call nduma or ngwashe. So that would be cassavas and yams. Um, Typically for a healthy Kenyan breakfast, yeah, I would have those and maybe some mandazi. Mandazi is made from dough. You make some dough and then you deep fry them. Yeah, that would be like a typical nice healthy Kenyan breakfast besides just the ordinary tea and bread or tea and sausages and bacon. Yeah, so mahamri or mandazis, nduma and gwashi, which are cassavas and yams. Yeah, and sweet potatoes also. Yeah.
Those all sound delicious.
Is have you heard of puff puff, Lavigne?
Yes, I've heard of them. So
It's
I'm not.
similar to puff puff because that's fried dough as well.
Yeah, okay. Puff puff. Are they round? Do they have a specific shape or they're
They're
round?
round. Yeah,
Mostly
they're round.
round.
Okay, so
I
they're
made some
almost
today and they're
similar.
not round, but typically they're round.
Okay.
My last batch turned out flat too, somehow.
So I guess they're quite okay. They could be similar, just that
Can you tell
mahamri,
us like how Mindazi is it Mindazi or Madazi?
Mandazi.
Oh, okay.
yes,
Mandazi.
mandazi, or
Tell us-
mahamri. You can also call them mahamri.
Got it. Can you tell us how that's prepared?
Okay, so you take some wheat flour with
Mhm.
some warm water. Okay, so what you need is wheat flour, warm water. You need sugar, some salt, but for the salt, you'll just need like a pinch or two. Then if you want to add in some flavors, that's optional. Then you need some butter as well. So you mix up the dry ingredients first together. So you measure up the amount of sugar you need and then the salt. Melt your butter, then leave it to cool for a few minutes. Then mix all that together without the water or the milk, because you also need milk. So you mix up the dry ingredients together first, then go in with your warm water. Although some people prefer milk, but if you're lactose intolerant, you can use warm water. So go in with the warm water, you mix it using your bare hands. So you don't use a spoon or anything. So you mix it up together till the mixture is, it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard and not too sticky. Then you're gonna cover it with a dry dishcloth and just leave it to sit for a while. Then take a pan, heat up some oil for a while, and your oil needs to be like properly heated. Then you cut in, like you just go in cutting the shape. So for our mahamris, they're normally triangular in shape most of the time. Yeah, that's like the design from way back, but you can do it in whatever shape that you want. So you go cutting up the pieces, and then you just put them in the oil. Then you go turning it until it browns. So it's supposed to be brown, nicely brown on the outside. So that's how you prepare the mahamri, yeah, or the mandazi.
Oh, that's very similar to puff puff. The only difference is that
Mhm.
in puff puff we add yeast and
Yeah, and there's no
Mhm.
butter in puff puff, at least
Oh, okay.
as I know.
yeah.
So they're kind of similar then. All right.
Yeah.
They're kind of similar. Mhm.
And I don't think we use wheat flour for puff puff, so maybe it's really not that similar.
Yeah.
What do you get? What do
They're
you
both
use?
just fried dough. So
Yeah.
that's where the similarity ends.
Oh, okay. So what do you use in place of wheat flour?
Just
We use
regular,
all-purpose flour,
yeah.
like just
Oh,
normal.
okay.
Yeah.
Ah, all right. All right. Interesting.
What's your take on spices and pepper as a Kenyan? Like, do you like spicy food? Do you not like spicy food?
So as Kenyans in general, or like for me specifically, like Kenyans in general?
Both.
Answer for you specifically, then I think maybe if you want to speak for every Kenyan, that's allowed.
Okay. All right. So I'd say I'm big on spices. I'm big on spicy food. I love to like try out spicy food. I hear most of your Nigerian dishes. I don't know if it's all of them or maybe jollof rice. You guys do a lot of pepper. So I'd be comfortable enjoying your dishes because like I'm big on trying out spices. But I feel there's some dishes that would just need their natural taste for you to like actually get the essence of this specific dish. There are dishes like that, certain Kenyan dishes that say if you do too much spices on them, you take away that whole essence of that traditional dish. But and most Kenyans, I don't think do too much spices in our foods, especially pepper. Oh, the other okay, for pepper we don't do too much pepper. For other spices we're out on we try them out, but pepper we're not too big on that. Personally, I'm out to try out spicy foods. That's why I'd enjoy Indian dishes or even Nigerian cuisines. But yeah, that's what I'd say. Mhm.
Cool. Have you had any Nigerian dish before? You seem to know a lot about Nigerian food.
I've only tried out jollof
And what?
once. Just once in school. So I studied hospitality management. So when we were doing the catering classes, the food and beverage, food production classes, there's a time we tried out a Nigerian cuisine. So I think that was the one time I've actually tried it out. Yeah, just that once. But I'm open to, trying them out even more.
Have you had anything from Ghana?
No, from Ghana. No. I
Oh,
don't think so.
never mind.
I
I
don't
won't
We
think
just
so.
wanted to ask you to compare the jollof and say which jollof you like better.
Also, they're different. They're actually different.
Yes.
There's a big jollof war, if you don't
They're
know.
very different
Between,
too.
I should do my research on that. I'll actually look for a place where they prepare the Ghanaian one. Then I'll try it out and actually tell the difference.
Yeah. I have a Swahili name. This is a very random addition to this episode.
Okay.
I just remembered like that I do have a Swahili name. It's not like my parents didn't give me the name. Somebody gave me the name, but do you want to know my Swahili name?
I'm very interested too. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so my name is Mawa. Do you know what that means?
Oh, Maua, yes, flower, a beautiful flower.
Thank you. So that's
It suits you.
yeah. I was like, oh, but yeah, that's my Swahili name. So you can call me Mawa from now on. You guys in the group too, you can start calling me Mawa. But yeah.
Okay, Maua. All right. It's a beautiful name.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Halima has now renamed herself on this.
I didn't give myself the name. Someone gave me the name and I accepted it. So I'm like, yeah, why not? But I mean, my family members don't know I have that name, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
So, do you guys have any like, I don't know how I would put this now. Actually, I have two questions. So my first question is, like, let's say you went to a Kenyan wedding, for example. What would you expect to be served, right? So let's go with that one first.
Okay, so for Kenyan weddings, normally what happens, we choose the menu depending on the tribe that the couple comes from. Okay, so if they come from two different cultures, there'll be a mix of both cultures in the menu. So for instance, if the groom is Aluya, like from where I come from, and the bride is, let's say, Kikuyu, so that's another tribe. So you'd have ugali. Chapati is all round, so chapati will definitely be there. You'll have mudokoi, that's to represent the Kikuyus, so it's also partly known for kambas. You'll have mokimo. You'll have chicken, of course. Chicken, you'll have beef stew, some veggies, assorted veggies. So you go with your preference. So you'll have cabbage, there's managu. You'll have some creamed spinach, for instance. Of course, an assortment of fruits. What other? You'll have pilau. Yes, pilau, that's a non-negotiable in almost every wedding here. And then some vegetable rice for people who don't love pilau, because pilau is spicy. So for those who don't do spices, they naturally do the vegetable rice. So yeah, those are the most common that you'd find in almost every Kenyan wedding.
Lavigne, did you say pilau is spicy? You guys have a very interesting spice tolerance if you guys think pilau is spicy.
I think that Nigerians think spicy always means peppery. But sometimes spicy might just mean like full of spices. But you know, as Nigerians, when we hear spicy,
well, just like hot pepper.
Is that the kind of spice you're describing, like hot type?
No, for the pilau, it's not like hot, because it's just the masala that adds that tingly feeling to the mouth, but it's not like hot compared to jollof. Or no, it's not hot. So I wouldn't say it's like really spicy, but it's somewhat spicy. Let's say mild. It's a little bit mild, yeah.
Okay. Apparently Kenyans love tea, like they love drinking tea. There's one called masala chai. How is this made?
Oh, okay. So the masala tea. Okay. For us, we have, so there's the masala spice that you can just which is quick and easy. So I'll say the two different ways. So if you have the tea masala, so you just boil your milk first, then add in, say, a cup of water or two, depending you're making tea for how many people, of course. Then go in with your tea leaves, but not too much of it. Then add your tea masala and bring it to a boil. Then once, of course, it boils, you sieve it. That's the most common way we prepare it. So we just add the tea masala to it. So apart from not just doing the normal tea leaves with milk and butter, the only additional thing is adding the tea masala to it. That's actually how we prepare our tea masala down here. Yeah.
That sounds tasty.
I
think that's everything that we have time for today. So we're going to have to wrap it up. But it's been really great speaking to you, Lavigne. Thank you so much for coming on our podcast. Do you have an Instagram or Facebook or Twitter you want to shout out to our listeners?
Yeah, so I'm not okay. Yes, my Instagram handle, it's Lavigne_faith. So yeah, and the other social networks, I don't think I'm that active, but you can also find me on Twitter. That's Faith Lavigne Busolo. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, go ahead and follow Lavigne on Twitter, and also follow Oriire. We are Oriire_Africa on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, I believe. That's ORIIRE_Africa. Also, go on our website, oriire.com. Go on it now, because we have lots of interesting articles about many different foods, mythology, and history in many different African regions. And we also have conversations about these. So go ahead, start a conversation if you want to talk more about what you just heard, or you want to talk about a different topic. Also, if you would like to come on our podcast, please go to the contact us page on our website and just let us know. We would be happy to have you.
Don't forget to like, follow, comment, subscribe, share, and all of that. Have a good day, everybody. Bye. Thanks, Lavigne.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Lavigne,
you. Thank you guys for having me.
What's bye
in Swahili? Or Kwaheri. You say Kwaheri.
Okay, Kwaheri. So anyway,
Yeah.
Asante Sana, Kwaheri. Asante Sana is thank you, right?
Yes, it's thank you. So Karibu is you're welcome.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.